Currently, we have this dry line here positioned over central Oklahoma, and ahead of the dry line we have dew points in the upper 50s to low 60s, indicative of very good surface moisture for storms. However, there are some limiting factors, and right now we are not expecting storms to develop ahead and along the dry line, but if we do get a storm or two to go, it will be moving in a very favorable environment to potentially produce some tornadoes and damaging hail. And taking a look behind the dry line now, we have extreme wildfire risk out there in western Oklahoma, including Elk City and Woodward. So be very careful out there, as a small spark can start a big fire. And our main story for this week will once again be severe weather. On Thursday and Friday, we'll have this cold front push its way through, and ahead of that cold front, we'll have winds out of the south, and that's going to bring in some rich Gulf of Mexico moisture, really starting to arrive last minute here on Thursday at around 10 p.m. in the Norman and the Metro here on Thursday night. So it will likely be mostly a nighttime event on Thursday, so be sure you have a way to receive those nighttime weather alerts. And that dry line and cold front are going to push their way to the east here on Friday, and we can see mid-60s dew points in eastern Oklahoma on Friday ahead of that dry line. Very favorable moisture there for those severe thunderstorms to work with on Friday afternoon and evening. And taking a look at our futurecast here, we can see that first severe threat starting Thursday night. But as we head into Friday, we're really going to see the strongest severe thunderstorms start developing in eastern Oklahoma over here ahead of that dry line. And those are going to intensify as they push their way off to the east and into Arkansas. As a result, we can see the Storm Prediction Center has already went ahead and issued a 15% severe weather threat here, slight risk for western and central Oklahoma on Thursday, 15% threat on Friday here for eastern Oklahoma, 30% threat as you push further east into Arkansas. Taking a look at our satellite imagery from yesterday, we can see these plumes across eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, and there was even a smaller one down here in Ardmore. And these were actually wildfires that took place yesterday. We actually had about 17,000 acres burned in the Ouachita Mountains in Arkansas yesterday from these wildfires. And we're going to see that fire risk continue throughout the week. The risk over the next 3 days is going to be a bit decreased compared to what it was today and yesterday. However, as we head into Sunday and then into Monday and Tuesday, when we get a dry line set up, we're going to have that fire risk increase. Look at our radar forecast. We do see those isolated areas of snowfall in far northern Oklahoma on Thursday. But as we head into Friday, we see this big band of snow work its way in. It'll work its way into the Metro and Norman in the early morning hours, and it'll push its way out of the state in the early afternoon. So taking a look at those snow totals, here in Norman we could see about half an inch to an inch of snowfall. Further east we could see higher accumulations, even up to 3 inches in very isolated areas. After that snow works its way out of Oklahoma, we're going to see it push its way to the east, and it's going to push its way across most of the eastern U.S. Most states in the eastern U.S. will be affected by this, and I know many of us are planning on traveling for spring break, so if you're planning on traveling out east, you're definitely going to want to keep the snowfall in mind before you go on those spring break adventures. Look at our futurecast. We can see these showers just start coming in tonight into tomorrow morning, and as we head into tomorrow at around 4 a.m., we'll see this big linear band come in. This is associated with our first cold front, and this big linear band could have wind gusts over 40 miles per hour associated with it. And as we head into Wednesday, we get our second crashing cold front. This one's going to be much stronger and bring some snow chances here for northwestern Oklahoma and the Panhandle. And as we head into Wednesday afternoon, we'll start seeing these stronger thunderstorms here developing in the Arklatex region and even in the southeastern Oklahoma. And as a result, we can see that we do have this isolated severe weather threat here for southeastern Oklahoma, and that snow up to 4 inches here in northwestern Oklahoma and the Panhandle, Woodward, and Guyman area. And as a result of that severe threat in southeastern Oklahoma, the Storm Prediction Center has went ahead and issued a 2 out of 5 level risk for severe weather in southeastern Oklahoma on Wednesday. As we head into Wednesday, taking a look at our stormcast here, we can see those storms start working their way into Norman and OKC here around 6 to 7 a.m. So it could cause some hazards there for your morning commute. And then they're going to push their way to the east, and we can see a few more rounds built behind that and impact the metro here. As we head into the early to mid-afternoon, we'll start seeing those storms work their way out of Oklahoma. And some of these storms could be strong to marginally severe, and as a result, we do have a few hazards associated. Could see an isolated tornado or an area of hail, but my main concern here is the wind and flooding threat with this system. And taking a look at our weekend, we can see a few more showers coming in here on Saturday, but as we head into Sunday, we'll get this weak cold front come in, and that's going to initiate some storms here that could also be a little bit stronger. It will be a bit cooler as we push off to the west towards Guyman and the Panhandle as we work towards that colder air mass off to the west, and that cold front is going to work its way in tonight and bring us our next rain and thunderstorm activity. As we can see here, thunderstorms starting to develop in the OKC metro at around 10 p.m. tonight, and that first front's going to push its way out to the east. And as we head into tomorrow, we'll get a much more widespread round of showers and thunderstorms by tomorrow afternoon. As we can see, the entirety of southern Oklahoma will have some showers and thunderstorms by tomorrow, and that's going to continue into Wednesday morning. We can see some strong bands of rain here as we head into Wednesday morning, and it's going to work its way out of the metro by Wednesday afternoon and out of the state by Thursday. And as a result of this heavy rainfall, we see that the Storm Prediction Center has issued a 2 out of 5 level risk for excessive rainfall, indicating a 15% risk for flash flood criteria being met and a 1 out of 5 level risk for OKC and Norman. And taking a look at those rainfall accumulations, we can see that those rainfall accumulations could even reach isolated areas of up to 3 inches here in far southeastern Oklahoma. And as a result, I'm very concerned for those flooded roadways out there. Hazardous, wet, and flooded roads will be my main concern. Even if isolated areas of waterway, river, and creek flooding are possible, and there could be some lightning out there, so if thunder warriors head indoors. Tomorrow, we'll have this dry line set up here in central Oklahoma, and that's going to stay put throughout the day tomorrow. And behind that dry line, my folks out there in my hometown of Altus, Oklahoma, that's going to be one of the warmest and driest places in the state. Temperatures reaching 90s in far southwestern Oklahoma. And as we head throughout the evening, we'll have this cold front start to push its way into northwest Oklahoma. And what that cold front and dry line means, we could get some rain here in central and northeast Oklahoma. That's going to push its way out of the state as we head into the AM hours on Friday. And behind that dry line, we could see some fire danger, elevated risk out there in most of western Oklahoma, and even a critical fire danger risk in the western panhandle. We do see those storms initiating, right, like I said, around sunset. And here we can see them working their way into the Norman and OKC metro area around 11 p.m. And here we do see this hail core being shown entering Norman at 11 p.m. So we'll definitely have to watch this as we enter those overnight hours. And then we do see them push their way to the east and finally out of the state as we enter the early morning hours.